Coming up on Mountain News this morning, while many are beginning to pick up the pieces from recent flooding, one Leslie County community is still stranded by water.
And for those wanting to help flood victims, the Red Cross has a good opportunity this weekend here in Perry County.
And we have the latest on the recovery of one of the surviving horses from December shooting in Floyd County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 5:33 on February 18th. I'm Madison Pergram.
And I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning on this Tuesday.
On this Tuesday, Monday 2.0. And it's definitely going to feel like that today because we might have a little rain.
Just when we thought we were out of the woods, Brandon throws us right back into it.
Yep. Let's go to Brandon. And Brandon, this is just one day of the week, so we can handle that.
How do I always get blamed for this? I just forecast it. I don't make it.
Doesn't matter much to me or a lot of people, to be honest with you.
True. Listen, just don't shoot the messenger. It's always what I got to say. Yeah, you're right. We're going to see more rain chances today, but short-lived and more scattered, so definitely not going to be causing any major issues. We're seeing some of that already this morning on live pinpoint Doppler radar. Let's take a look, and you'll see some green showing up near I-75 and west this morning. Some heavier pockets along southern parts of Pulaski County and then coming in from central Kentucky, but again, nothing too major today. Temperatures are very mild this morning. 52 Prestonsburg, Jackson, Hazard, Harlan. 54 London, Somerset, Williamsburg, Monticello, Middlesboro. 56 in Irvin, and the hot spot this morning is 57 in Jacksboro. Wind starting to shift just a little bit there, so it's cranking in that warm air from the south briefly, but you see behind there kind of in this area right here. I'm going to draw it out for you right fast. See where they're kind of starting to shift this way? Well, it's not going to let me draw it, but that's why over there toward the back end of that, back toward Louisville, they're starting to shift with the cold front. We're going to continue to see, again, the possibility for some nice temperatures, at least for the most part of the day, and then we'll continue to watch those temperatures climb into the 50s by later on this afternoon. I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up here in a little bit. Will?
Alrighty, Brandon, thank you. Well, we head to Leslie County this morning where water levels remain high in the Confluence community as water released from Buckhorn Lake floods the area. For many, the only way in and out of their homes is now by boat. Monday, officials spent their afternoon dropping off food boxes to those stranded. It was not an easy task, and with lines and debris hidden in the water.
Well, you got cables, you got stumps. One section there is a swinging bridge.
Water levels will hopefully continue to go down this week. Officials will be back out on the water later today.
And our Steve Hensley talked to 90th District State Representative Derek Lewis about the recent flooding in Confluence and across eastern Kentucky yesterday during a taping of Issues and Answers.
You know, altogether, this has happened several years, and especially the people down in the Confluence Trace branch area of Leslie County. You know, my heart goes out to those people. And so when all this was happening, one of the first things I did is I had a meeting with the governor and Rocky Atkins, and they pledged their support on both the front end and back end in terms of emergency management.
Now, we also talked about some of the most discussed legislation in Frankfort right now. You can see the full interview on our website at WYMT.com.
Well, it has been a week or more since floodwaters devastated some areas of southeastern Kentucky. Some people will have to replace everything inside of their homes. Several relief groups are responding to the area. WYMT's Phil Pendleton tells us what they are doing.
We're going to have about 25 people down here working.
Dave Hampton is used to traveling great distances to help others who have lost nearly everything.
Our idea is to get them back in the home as soon as they can. We clean the mud out, then we'll cut the drywall. If they have drywall, we cut it up above the flood line.
Kentucky Baptist did that work in Texas, Illinois, and Nebraska recently, but now they're practically working in their backyards, helping their neighbors.
We have a church in Williamsburg. Some of our members are affected down there, so we're working, and then in Bell County, I know a lot of people, a lot of friends.
Damage assessments are still being done here in Whitley County. They still don't know the monetary loss that this community faced, but they say that it will reach the federal disaster threshold. They do tell me that more than 50 homes were either damaged or destroyed.
It gives us a sense of purpose, of belonging.
Tim Anders of Team Rubicon says he and other retired military veterans will be doing flood recovery work in Whitley County. That's where some say they saw the worst flooding in more than 40 years.
So we're going to be bringing in approximately 20 volunteers to start mucking out and helping people with the debris, cleaning out their homes. People come up and tell you thanks and give you a hug, and it's worth it.
Hampton says the work they do will save the average homeowner thousands of dollars. In Whitley County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, members of both groups say their volunteers often bring their own equipment, pay their own way, and resort to sleeping on cots while in a disaster area.
And crews continue to assess flooding damage in the Cumberland Valley. Bell County Judge Executive Albie Brock says first responders and road crews have worked 12 to 14-hour days trying to keep the roads open during the last 2 weeks. Brock says based on the damage he has seen in other neighboring counties, he would be surprised if they do not make the federal threshold for assistance.
We're just starting to be able to do that, so it'll be a little bit, it'll probably be a week, 10 days before we come up with a firm, dollar number, but it's going to be big.
A continuing worry is possible rock and mudslides resulting from all the rain we have had recently.
For those wanting to help flood victims, the Red Cross has a good opportunity this weekend. On Saturday, there will be a training for potential volunteers. That will take place at the First Presbyterian Church located at 160 Broadway Street in Hazard from 8:30 until 4:30. Anyone who wants to register needs to call 606-331-1097 by Wednesday. Lunch will be provided.
And crews continue to clean up the site where a train derailed in Pike County. This past weekend, all the ethanol was removed from tanker cars. Workers also removed the tanker cars themselves. 3 engines are expected to be removed later today, and one woman now has a construction zone right outside her house.
It's been stressful. It's really been, you don't want to complain because, of the situation, but it's been a mess.
Officials say crews should have the engines removed later today, and the roadway is expected to be repaired later this week.
Well, 2 men are arrested after a chase yesterday that included 2 crashes with police cruisers. Here's a look from Louisville. Police there say they spotted a stolen car leave a Walmart. The driver led the officers on a chase and hit 2 police cars. The chase ended when the driver got stuck in a grassy median. No one was hurt. Charges are still pending against the 2 19-year-old men who were arrested.
And a woman is back in Kentucky to face a reckless homicide charge after a fatal crash that happened in 2016. Roger Wilson died in that crash, and court records indicate Megan Felton was indicted in 2017, but was not booked in the Whitley County Detention Center until this past weekend. Her indictment says she was driving recklessly when the crash happened. Court workers say she was extradited from Oregon.
2 women are accused of stealing from a Belk store in Corbin. Police say loss prevention caught Patsy Engel and Loretta Luthen stealing. They had more than $1,000 worth of merchandise. Police say Engel had slurred speech. She is charged with shoplifting and public intoxication. Luthen is charged with shoplifting.
And 4 people, including 2 from Columbus, Ohio, are charged with drug trafficking after a traffic stop. Deputies in Laurel County arrested Jason Frazier, Antonio Harlan, Patience Robinson, and India Hawk after a traffic stop on Saturday. Frazier and Robinson are from Laurel County, and Harlan and Hawk are from Columbus. And deputies smelled marijuana when they pulled the vehicle over and eventually found meth. All 4 are also charged with marijuana possession.
We are still waiting on a court date for a man charged with murder in Harlan County. Investigators arrested Richard Cody this past weekend in Tennessee. He will need to be extradited back to Kentucky. Investigators say he used an old key to get into his estranged wife's home and killed Matthew Smith. Cody faces murder and wanton endangerment charges.
And it has been more than a month since 20 horses were found shot to death at a Floyd County strip mine.
But from that shooting, several horses survived, and that includes Knox.
He was rescued and recovering at Willow Hope Farm in Simpsonville. Shelby Smithson met Knox, and she shows us how far he's come since being rescued.
He has this larger-than-life personality. He's very confident. He's very playful. He's all boy.
That's how anyone who spends a few minutes with Knox describes him. But it wasn't long ago that he was a much more cautious colt. Knox came to Willow Hope Farm after about 20 other horses were found shot near the Pike and Floyd County line.
but it only took about a week for Knox to realize that people are okay, that they're safe, and that we can actually be his friend.
And Knox only progressed over the following months, weaning off his mom and making strides that proved he's ready to find a new family.
And that is why we're here. We're here to help horses and to get them into forever homes where they can thrive.
Knox is just one of 3 horses rescued after the shooting, but Hope and Diamond are still several months away from being ready for adoption.
Both of them are very healthy at this point. Hope is just waiting to foal, and that foaling date is kind of unknown to us, so we watch her daily. Diamond is also doing very well. She's still leery of people. She's not as confident as Knox is, and it's going to take a little longer for her, but there's no doubt she's going to be fine as well.
In the meantime, Knox is working on his best smile for when he finally meets his new family. In Simpsonville, Shelby Smithson.
Now, the Kentucky Humane Society is looking for an experienced owner to adopt Knox, and preferably someone who already owns another horse. If you want to adopt him, find out how to start the process in this story on our website at wymt.com.
Yesterday was an exciting day for people in Floyd County as a community center officially opened. Check out the renovations. They laid down a new basketball floor, redid several of the rooms, and also added a new security system. You may remember this used to be the old Martin City Community Center that closed a few years back.
And the state will have to pay $150,000 in attorney's fees to a man who won the right to have a license plate that reads, "I'm God." Benny Hart moved to Kenton County from Ohio, where he'd had the phrase on his license plate for years. He was denied that custom plate in Kentucky. The ACLU and Freedom from Religion Foundation filed a lawsuit on Hart's behalf. In November, a federal court ruled Hart could have the plate. And ahead on Mountain News this morning, some exciting news for Disney fans who always dreamed about having a fairy tale wedding.
Well, little orphan Annie said it best, the sun will come out tomorrow. Unfortunately, it will not today. I'm tracking rain chances in about 3 minutes.